Hello, powerful. It's Coach Lisa, your generative power coach. And I'm going to ask you the question, are you doing things differently? Because how do we know if we are achieving success? What are the receipts? What's the proof? There are times when you're going to find yourself doing something in a different way than you did ever before. If I had asked you a few weeks ago if that was your goal, you probably wouldn't have recognized it as such. As we achieve greater power internally, as we get in the mindset of generative power, we start looking at everything through a different lens. Things become easier because you gain more confidence, resilience, an attitude of if it doesn't work out, it's okay. I got another try at it. Let me give you a couple of examples. Somebody asked me to be on their podcast. I read through the questions in advance and I didn't spend any other time preparing for it. In the past, I would have prepared a ton to be on somebody's podcast. I used to say, please send me the questions in advance. I would write out my talking points, type them out, print it out, and then tape it to my music stand. I would try not to sound like I was reading, but it was important for me to stay on script. Now, I've done a lot of interviews, a lot of these types of videos, and I'm comfortable just speaking off the cuff. I might skip a talking point or two. I might end the interview and go, oh, I forgot to say whatever, or I don't like how I worded that. But when I listen back, I'm like, yeah, that was good. It's fine. Didn't have hit every point, but it's okay. I'm doing things differently. Now, I would never have said this would be a goal, but it's become that. And I'm like, oh, wait, that's progress. Another example, I sit down to do these videos and I've written a few bullet points. I don't script these videos. I put together some talking points and then I just riff. It's because I've done this enough. I've coached enough people. I know enough about the outcomes people are achieving and the challenges that they're having with it that I can just speak to that. I created around 100 podcasts called Ever Better Today. It was 10 minutes or less. I would come up with a topic, write out a few talking points, and sometimes I got more detailed than I wanted to, and I recorded. And sometimes I re-recorded, and sometimes I re-recorded 4 or 5 times. I don't do that anymore. I still plan out what I want to say, write out a few talking points, but right now I'm not looking at a piece of paper. I'm just talking to you in the camera. That's sign of progress. I went from being to have all my notes written out, typed out, taped to my music stand, to being able to turn on the microphone and talk to you. That's a sign of generative power, it's a sign of success. So I want you to think about where in your life are you making progress? Something that was really hard for you, would have been unthinkable for you a few years ago, you're doing pretty easily now. Even if you feel like that doesn't relate to your outcome or your vision, it does. Here's a business example. I had a client say to me, I don't know where my business is going to come from. I'm worried about my business, like developing contracts in this really tough environment. We talked about all the things that she could do. And she started reaching out to all of her contacts saying, hello, catching up. What's happening with you? Over a few weeks' time, this snowballed into something fantastic. Every time I got in a meeting with her after that, she'd be like, I won a contract yesterday. I won 2 contracts yesterday. That's a sure sign of success to go from, oh my gosh, I don't know where my next contract is coming from to, ooh, we've done 5 contracts in the past month. These were not the dollar amounts she would have liked to do, but they were good, solid contracts, keeping the team working, the company going, keeping everyone together. Sometimes you have to change your key performance indicators for the environment that you're in. She got in the habit of continuously doing outreach. We had to keep showing up every single day, even when we're exhausted and even when we don't feel like getting out of bed. We got to do the work because the work makes the outcome happen and the vision happen. And it's worth it because we need more powerful people out into the world today. We need you to be generating more power for yourself so that you can have more influence and more amazing outcomes. We need more powerful, positive presence in the world. Stay powerful. Lesson learned there. And we can apply that to what we already know